One game left.
Sad.
You know what that means?
Not watching it. Playoffs, baby.
They're over.
Was not
They're
expecting
over.
that to come through. Playoffs, baby. Oh, God.
Yeah, man. That's
You know
my
when you
favorite
hear
button
your
to
own
hit.
voice? You hate it? You hate when you hear your own voice? Yeah. Makes you want to vomit.
Every time I edit this. Every time I edit this.
Yeah. One game left. One game left. Fast season. God, it always amazes me how quick NFL season goes.
It flies by.
I know I said, probably said it 5 times throughout this year that I'm ready for the season to end, but now that it's actually over, you're kind of bummed, right? I'm excited for the offseason. I'm excited for draft and free agency and all that stuff, but it feels weird, like, in the last few weeks, not having Thursday games, not having Monday games, only having 2 games on Sunday. It's like, what do you do with your time? Like, what am I supposed to do when I'm not watching football?
First weekend without football.
No, I know, but
unless you're a big Pro Bowl guy.
No, I'm not a big pro. I probably will not. I might turn on. No, I probably won't. But still, like, you normally on Sunday you have, whatever, 15 games, 13 to 16 games or whatever it is, depending on bye weeks. But now you got one left. It just sucks. It's sad. Last week there's only 2.
Yeah, no one's gonna watch it apparently.
Yeah, no, everyone's still gonna. I guarantee you, it breaks the record. Like every other big game does every single year. It's gonna break the record for most views.
Yeah.
By the time it's all said and done. So
it's gonna It's gonna break
the.
I do, and I want to talk about Chiefs Bills first.
Okay.
What's going on?
What do you want to talk?
Like, what's going on with this whole Josh Allen thing? What are your thoughts?
So it's similar to the Lamar conversation if you want to talk Josh Allen specifically. I think the difference is Josh Allen has performed a lot better in the playoffs and his team just can't win. He's lost to the Chiefs now 4 times and the Bengals once. And I think that might be it. I think those are his only 5 playoff losses, if I'm not mistaken. I know he's undefeated in the wild card round. I don't think he's lost to the Ravens. So I believe those are his only, it's 5 losses. There's just something about it. They just can't get over that hump, but I don't think it's all his fault. Like, he plays well in these games. Like, he performs at a super high level in every single one of these games. They just can't win. It's just like, I don't know what it is. I don't know if he, the team in general locks up. And I know we were texting during the game. Like, the beginning of the game, he looked shaky. Like, he almost threw 2 picks on the first drive. And I think I texted you and I was like, this is going to be a blowout. Like, I don't know. I could feel it. They looked like shit on the first half of the possession, and then the Chiefs went down and scored right away. And I was like, I don't know why. It just feels like a blowout. And maybe at this point now that there is this whole stigma of he can't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs. He's 4-1, I think, against them in the regular season, 0-4 now in the playoffs. Or is it 0-5? I don't know, 0-4, 0-5. And I do think that as those losses mount up, the pressure gets larger and larger. Like, it's going to be something that they're going to have to overcome at some point. I think they will break through. For a second there, I thought it was going to be this year. I really did. I thought they were going to go down and win the game. I do think this was like his – if you take out that double or the overtime game where they scored with like 17 seconds left and they gave up a field goal with 17 seconds, whatever. The Chiefs kicked that field goal when they had 17 seconds. This was, I think, the one opportunity where he could have driven the offense down. Yeah, he got the ball with like 3 minutes, 20 seconds left. Driven them down, either scored a touchdown with little to no time left. A touchdown would have put them up 4, so you can't kick a field goal anymore. So if you have under 20 seconds left, odds are you're going to win. You don't need to get in field goal range. And it just didn't happen. And I thought it was going to be his time to drive them down, score the game-winning touchdown with 20, 30 seconds left, and finally kind of put that nail in the coffin. And it just didn't happen. Spags came with an unbelievable blitz at the end of the game. It was, I believe it was a corner and safety blitz off the right side. And it fooled them. I just don't think they were ready for it. And I think that's what Spags is good at. He brings these things out that he hasn't put on tape before. And I think it fooled them. And I know there's a lot of conversation going around. Oh, I should have taken it to the orbit. I can't remember who that ESPN guy who said it, which is just ridiculous. That whole take is ridiculous. He had 2 free rushers running at him, and he still made an unbelievable play and got the ball up to Dalton Kincaid, who dropped. That was a tough catch. I think he's taken more heat than he should be, and they're comparing to Mark Andrews. Like, that was a tough catch. He had to stop.
Ridiculous in traffic.
Yeah.
Apparently, he had a partially torn PCL.
Mm.
Yeah. That's. I mean, he probably should have caught that, but
I think it's different than the Mark Andrews though, because Mark Andrews wide open, completely different. He had to stop, turn around. If you see the back end zone angle, the ball is curving. I don't know if it's the wind because Allen just had to toss it up. Probably didn't get as much.
It was like a fly ball.
Yes.
If you ever play baseball, it had a weird spin on it, so it's kind of going all over the place.
It's like trying to catch a punt diving, almost
but feet first.
Yes, right, correct. That's what I mean. But I mean, I think he made a great play to get that ball up there at the last second. But God, I really thought this was the year that he was going to have his opportunity to drive them down. And it stinks that he didn't do it. I don't put the loss on him. I think he definitely played well enough to win. I think the defense played well enough to win. They forced a turnover. The Bills there were 5 fumbles in that game, and the Bills got on top of all 5 of them. It's just amazing that they did not win that game. They had the bounces go their way a little bit. There's obviously a couple calls that I think people are upset about. I
feel like people were trying to look for calls to be upset about.
I think the calls were not as bad. It's not as egregious in this game as some of the previous games. I do think it might be time for the NFL with the spotting of the ball. I saw an analogy today that, in tennis, they're able to, they have technology to zoom in on the line to see if it touched the line based, they have that technology. There's got to be something in football that we can do to help with some of these first downs.
They tried to test it.
Did they tested the chip in the preseason? Is that what it was? Or
it was a year or two ago? Eagle eye technology or something like that. But it took too long. It took 10 minutes. And they're all right.
Okay, so it just didn't work. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. It just.
I don't know, man.
Yeah.
It's just one of those things where these little things that are amplified because of the situation.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They're probably going to do something, but it happens. Mm-hmm. And the Bills had the ball with 3 minutes left, like you said. If you told a Bills fan that you were down 3, Josh Allen's the ball with 3 minutes left in the game to drive down and score, every Bills fan would take that.
I 100% agree.
So there you go.
Agree.
So who gives a shit about the calls? They had a chance to win. They couldn't do it.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that.
Plain and simple.
Disagree with that. Mm-hmm.
But there's one thing that I think that no one really has talked about, a way to beat this Chiefs team, actually in the playoffs, is you need to have more talent in the skill positions for your team to beat them. You can't rely on old Amari Cooper. You can't rely on Khalil Shakir. You can't play that's the Chiefs football. That's Chiefs football. They have a bunch of outcasts like Hollywood Brown, Juju Smith-Schuster, DeAndre Hopkins. All those guys were really good back in 2018. But you can't have the same talent as the Chiefs with Patrick Mahomes as quarterback. You need to have your superstars. The reason the Bengals beat them is because they had Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, Joe Mixon. They had better skilled players. Mm-hmm. So, I truly think that you can't beat them playing Chiefs football the same way as they couldn't beat Tom Brady because he was the same. He's, the GOAT. Similar, he never needed those guys because he was, Patrick Mahomes is playing exactly like Brady.
Yes.
He's just doing what he can to win. And if he has to throw for 400 yards, he can. If he has to just game manage, he will. And he's like, I'm down for whatever. But I think the Bills were built exactly like the Chiefs, but with less talent on defense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Plus losing that corner in the first drive.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
That was huge because they picked on that guy all night. I don't remember the guy. Bernard or something like that. Bernard.
Yes, with the concussion. Yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Second one in 2 weeks.
I did see something. He sounds like there might have been, and I don't know, this is all speculation, but some shady business getting him in the game because he had a concussion coming into the week and he got kind of cleared last second. And then the first hit he takes, he's like, he had to strap him into the cart. Like, that was scary. That was a scary injury. No, I kind of like that. I haven't thought about that, but I kind of like that thought process because there is, like, the Bengals are one of those teams that give the Chiefs not
they have firepower.
Tough matchups. Yeah, they have tough matchups against, like, the Bengals set up well against the Chiefs. Like, they set up well to beat the Chiefs, and part of the reason why is because of the weapons. Obviously, the defense wasn't there this year, but even this year when Bengals are not very good, I mean, a lot of teams kept the Chiefs close, but 4th and 16, obviously, in the Bengals game would have won them that game early in the season, which would have made some differences on both the teams this year. But I think that's I have to get my Bengals side in there. But hey, Bengals might be in the Super Bowl.
The amount of time, the amount of times that has been said since that play is
probably
incredible.
Once an episode.
At least once an episode.
But no, I also like your analogy of Mahomes and Brady. Like, I was listening to a podcast this week, and it wasn't brought up that exact same way, but it was similar in terms of the evolution that Patrick Mahomes has had as a quarterback. He went from being the 50 touchdown throwing quarterback, unanimous MVP, or maybe he didn't win unanimous MVP, but his first year threw the ball, but he lost. He didn't win the Super Bowl, right? And he's evolved into this. He's not even a Pro Bowl quarterback because his stats aren't there because he's doing what it takes to win the game, similar to Brady by the end of his career, where you work with the pieces you have and you figure out a way to win. Do we need to run the ball today? We're going to run the ball. Do we need it to be a defensive matchup and we just need to, we need to score 21. We know our defense is going to hold them to 17. Let's take care of the ball. Let's run the ball. Let's milk some clock. Let's make the plays when we need to. And I feel like that's been a massive evolution for him because he went from that gunslinger to, taking care of the football, doing what he needs to do. It was a similar conversation we had to Josh Allen because that's how the Bills were set up this year. They were going to be a run-first team. They weren't going to throw the ball over there because of the personnel they had. So I think that's a good point. I think it's a good point for both sides. And I also I think Andy Reid and Spagnuolo, they do a great job in the playoffs. I think they're the best at not showing everything they have and saving it for the playoffs and bringing out certain plays at certain times. Like, it's unbelievable what they can do. I just want someone to please take Spagnuolo off the Chiefs. Like, the dude deserves a head coaching job. Get him out of Kansas City. One? I don't know. I don't know if he even wants one at this point. I think he did do an interview this year. He got asked to do an interview for the first time. But, like, I just don't understand how that guy doesn't get interviews every year. It doesn't make sense.
Yeah, but I mean, it could be he could just want to just focus on the defense, and just
maybe he doesn't want to be a head coach. He's in a good spot.
I don't want to say he's like riding coattails, but like he's got a really good thing going. Mm-hmm. And I understand the money's a lot different, but like why you're going to go down as one of the best ever?
Yeah.
Andy Reid's on his way there too, man. It's
Andy
insane.
Reid is, yeah. I'm curious. Like, I know there's conversations about Andy Reid retiring last year, but he wanted to come back for the three-peat. I wonder if that gets circulated again this year if they win. Him and Travis Kelce. I wonder if they both step down if they win, if they do three-peat and kind of set that record.
I don't know. When people speculate about that stuff, they forget those people usually don't have like an athlete mentality.
Yeah, true.
Like, Travis Kelce doesn't need the money. Yeah, he's very famous, and he can go on and be an actor, or just do his podcast, or go on TV. But at this end of the day, man, like every time you hear an ex-athlete talk, the one thing they talk about is missing the locker room and missing the grind, and like that's when people call for other people to retire. It's like, man, you just don't know how these people think. The reason that they're there is because they want to just go after it all the time.
Yeah.
And he played a completely different role. They kept him healthy all year just to be ready for, especially what he did against the Texans. And, he was just basically blocking all game against the Bills. But like that guy, yes, he likes to be famous, and yes, he likes to be in the limelight, and he does not have to play football. But dude, deep down, he's an athlete.
Yeah.
And he wants to go to practice.
Yeah.
Like it's like Tom Brady. Like everyone was like, you don't need to do this. And he's like, but once I retire, I can't just go play pickup football.
Yes. Yeah.
Like I can't just go get that same feeling somewhere else. It's that's why all these guys are trying to play golf now, is because it gets that fire back. But
Some competitiveness. Yeah.
I mean, Peyton Manning could barely throw the ball his last year he played, and like it's when you do something for your whole life and then everyone's telling you to stop doing it, it's tough.
Yeah, absolutely. I completely agree. I'm
So
just curious because I know this was
who
big
knows?
last year.
Who
So
knows?
yeah. The other thing that in that game that I want to call out that I loved was that 3rd and 10 or 3rd and 9, whatever it was, when the Chiefs had the ball at the end of the game with like a minute 40. So if they didn't get it, 3rd and 9, they would have punted and given them like 40 seconds left to go kick a field goal, which is plenty of time to get down there and kick a field goal to go. I love that they threw the ball. Like, I love the confidence to throw. I texted a couple of our friends and said, Zach Taylor in that position 100% runs the ball because he's like, I just love that they have the balls to do that. Like, I want a coach that will do that, or trust your guys enough in that spot, not in a regular season game, not in a week 10, week 11 game, but in the divisional round of the playoffs, like to not get conservative. And I think we all knew that they would throw it themselves, but I just love that they did it because I love
Did the Bills
it's hard
still
not
have
to have confidence, but
did they still have like 2 timeouts because the guy before ran out of bounds?
So that was the first time they converted. He ran out of bounds, which is why they were in that. That should have basically ended the game. But then they still had all their timeouts, or 2 timeouts left because he went out of bounds. So they 1st and 2nd down, able to call timeout. So it's 3rd and 9, clock stopped, no timeouts left, a minute 40. So if you just run it, let the clock wind down, take a penalty, punt it, they'd probably get the ball back with like 30 seconds left by all the time that's all said and done. That have to go kick. Still timed enough to go get a field goal. But they threw it, and they got a 1st down, and the game was over.
I think there was going to be like a minute left if they got it back.
Yeah, I'm thinking you wind it to 0, you punt it, so the punt wastes like 6 or 7 seconds, and then it goes down to whatever, 50 seconds. So it's I just love that they threw it. I love that they threw it. That was fantastic. So
the Chiefs, it's annoying that
inevitable, man. It's inevitable. Like, you knew it was going to happen.
I know. I'm yeah. Betting against them was just handing money away. I think 66% of the money was on the Bills. And
crazy.
That's because people were like, I'm over this.
Yes. That's betting with your heart, not your head. Right. 5 minutes before kickoff, I placed a bet for Chiefs money line and the over.
Wow.
Like 5 minutes before. Perfect. I was like, I just was sitting there and I was like, there's no way they don't win. I was like, I don't know what it is. It's just, and they didn't, or they did. They didn't lose, and it just it got out of hand there a little bit. I got a little bit, like, for the betting purposes. I thought Josh Allen at the end was going to drive him down, but during the beginning portion of that game when it was 21-10, I was like, all right, this game's over. So it was a good game though. Another classic, man. They always put out classics, and I love it.
3-point game.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that interview, I saw a monologue of interviews.
Yeah, monologue. Yeah, that was bad.
I saw a montage of interviews of Josh Allen going up to the podium after he lost to Mahomes, and it was
so sad.
You could just see every single one get like a little bit worse.
Yeah.
And the last one, he just goes, I felt that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got to be weighing on him. Like, it has to be weighing on him that he just can't get over that hump. Yeah. Do you think the Bills win a Super Bowl with Josh Allen?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah,
but I think Mahomes is going to be injured one year.
I think there's going to be a year. I was thinking about this. There's going to be a year where Mahomes gets injured, and it's going to be between like Lamar, Burrow, and Allen, and like whoever doesn't win it that year, it's going to be like fuck. Like, this was the year that we needed to do.
Then also, like, down the line, people are going to be like, well,
they only won because Mahomes got hurt. Yeah, bullshit. I know. I want to beat him. I want to be, like I said it last time. I want to be the one.
None of them want him to get injured so they can win. They all want to go in and beat him. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think if the Ravens played the Chiefs and Zay Flowers is healthy, I think they could have beaten them. Because
I think they would have been a tougher matchup. Yeah.
Because they need. I just think you need firepower against them, man.
Yeah.
You can't beat them at their game.
Yeah. And
it's
for the Ravens specifically, like, I feel like we've said this every year. We said it last year, but like this felt like the team for them too. Like this felt like Derrick Henry having a great year, Lamar having I don't know if you can recreate that year. He had such a good year. Like everything fell together, and they stayed very super healthy until Zay Flowers got hurt in the playoffs. But they were very healthy for most of the year. Defense completely turned around second half of the season. 9 Pro Bowlers, whatever, 5 All Pros. Like it felt like the year, and I feel like I've said that 2 or 3 years in a row now. They have some big decisions.
Yeah,
to make
but Derrick Henry, is he gonna have another year like that? Like he's another year older. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. It just feels like there's more tape on how their offense was completely different this year with Derrick Henry. So a little bit more tape out there. People are going to figure, I don't know. It just felt like their year. Bills, on the other hand, like this was supposed to be a little rebuilding year. And the fact that they made it this far and were this competitive, like I know they don't have a ton of cap space. People are talking that Josh Allen's going to restructure and sign an extension to lower his cap hit.
I'm so glad you said that because we have talked about that before. Mm-hmm. But like I had some people out here in LA tell me like, oh, Bills thought it was going to be different this year. I was like, no one thought that.
No
one thought that. They lose Jordan Poyer, who was like their captain of their defense. Mm-hmm. And then they lost Stephon Diggs, who is by far their greatest weapon, by far. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Like everyone was like, oh, they're going to get another guy next year. They're going to get it all together. And I think they way outperformed their expectation.
1,000%. A lot of people weren't picking to win the division. At one point they were the odds on, they were third to win the division behind the Dolphins and the Jets for the majority of the offseason, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And like, it wasn't even just those two. It was, they retooled their offensive line with kind of some makeshift pieces. They got rid of a couple other, defensive players. They had a lot of dead cap this year, which is why they couldn't really do much. And we talked about it last week, but they completely retooled their offense to fit what they could do, because to your point, they didn't have the weapons to do what they've done previously, and it worked. Like I give Joe Brady a ton of credit. Like he did a great job with the offense as the offensive coordinator, and it's I think future's really bright. Restructure Josh Allen's contract to give him an extension so you can get some cap relief, because I think he has a pretty big cap hit this year, and I know that's what they're talking about doing. Bring in a couple pieces, and I think they're going to be fine.
T. Higgins.
No, he's staying in Cincinnati. We'll find out soon. So that'll be a good conversation once he leaves.
How are they going to pay him and Jamar?
They have no one else to pay, and they have so much money to spend. Because you want to hear this? They have one person signed to an extension longer than next year, and it's Joe Burrow. That's it. They have signed nobody.
What are they going to do about their defense? They're just going to pay their offensive guys and leave the defense the same?
I think they're going to sign Jamar, and sign Trey Hendrickson to an extension, and then draft defense again and try and hope that Al Golden can come in and develop some. They drafted 9 defensive players in the first 3 rounds the last 3 years. They have drafted so many defensive players. They got to perform at some point. They have to play. So you got to hope Al Golden comes in and changes it. You bring in a veteran corner. You try and bring in one piece on the D-line, and then you draft well. But they have so much money to spend, it's not even funny.
All right.
They're going to have to give it to someone. Who else are you going to give it to? You need to pay someone. They've drafted so poorly, they have no one else to give it to.
People are saying that T. Higgins is going to go to the Patriots. Then I heard today
Chargers.
He's going to go to the Chargers, the Bills.
Cardinals. Yeah, everywhere.
I have not heard Cardinals, but
no, the T. Higgins thing, he got rid of his agent, who is who was like Deshaun Watson agent, who goes after, solely cares about most money possible. He has a terrible relationship with the Bengals, because the Bengals obviously don't give out that kind of money because they're the Bengals. Jesse Bates' agent, that's why they couldn't agree to a contract. He left his agent voluntarily, week 12 or 13, and signed with Jamar Chase's agent. So they're kind of tied at the hip. They have the same agent now.
Yeah, it's just him and Burrow are best friends. Okay,
yes, it feels.
I get it. All right. We're moving on.
No Bengals tangent, but
I bring up T. Higgins, and then you want to hear this? You want
7 minutes
go?
Later, yeah.
Because we're talking about
playoffs, baby. I love it. I love that. That's awesome.
All right, let's talk about the Eagles Commanders.
Yeah. I think that's all I had on those games. Bills a good spot. That's why I wanted to end it. Bills in a good spot. Oh, last thing. They need to keep James Cook on the field. There was such a massive difference when they took him off the field.
He didn't touch the ball the last 6 plays.
When he came off the field,
he's their best weapon.
He's the best weapon. I know he's not he didn't catch a ton of passes this year. He had a great game in receiving game in this game, and I think that was massive. Just his presence on the field made a massive difference in their offense. every time they took him off the field, it was like But yeah, that was my last point I wanted to make on that game.
Oh, and they suck at the tush push.
Oh yes, they do.
They suck at it.
I think it was Romo who called it out. He likes to go to the left on the tush push, and Kansas City obviously knew that and did something to negate it. But that was we were texting about it. Worst tush push I think I've ever seen. They couldn't do it. They couldn't convert it.
It was so bad.
Yeah.
Every time they went for it, I was just like, stop. Even
ones.
Well, there's even that one where he tried to dive over and he almost fumbled.
Hey, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You're not on the goal line.
Yeah. Because he literally couldn't go through.
He couldn't go through. Yeah.
It's funny because, it's funny because people complain about the Eagles doing it, and no one else can do it the way they can.
Mm-hmm.
And they have Josh Allen, who's a massive guy. I mean, they tried it once with Patrick Mahomes, and he almost got hurt. So they're like, all right,
yeah,
we're enough of this.
It was something they haven't done a quarterback design run or anything since he got hurt, whatever that was, 3 years ago, and until today where he had those 2 QB draws that went for touchdowns. But that was the only time they haven't done one since, which I think is hilarious. Where he slightly dislocated his knee or whatever, and it missed 2 weeks or something. Yeah. Speaking of tush push, we'll kind of go into the Eagles Commanders game. What did you think of all that shit at the goal line? I didn't know that the refs could award a touchdown to a team by a certain team.
Well, you think at some point you're like, all right, what are we doing? You can only put the ball so close to the line. So close,
yeah.
It's let us run a play.
I thought the memes were funny. They were Patrick Mahomes realizing the refs can award a team a touchdown. Those are hilarious. But I will say, in the defense of the Commanders, they're you know what's coming. They're on the inch line. You're just trying to guess. You're trying to time up the snap count because what else can you do to stop it? I don't know.
And then the Eagles were playing it correctly. They're like, all right, if you're going to jump over the line.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what? Who's the guy who kept
Frankie Louvu?
Yeah, he kicked Cam Jurgens in the head 3 times.
I think he smacked Jalen Hurts in the head the one time.
The first time, yeah.
Yeah.
But then Hurts got out of the way the second and third time, and then they got another guy to jump off, and they finally got it. I'm not a big. I don't think anyone really likes the tush push, and I know the players don't like it. They're we hate doing it, but it works.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's an injury risk. I feel like it's
well, it's knock on wood, but no one's gotten injured from it yet. But I'm just saying, it can't feel good.
No,
because you're just going like this.
Yes,
and hoping And Jalen Hurts just holding on the ball, just getting pushed.
Yeah, he's just getting shoved. Yeah, but he's just a strong dude, so
he's
he can
big.
plow his way.
Yeah, he won me over this week. I'm going to tell you that.
Yeah,
he came out and played really well. What do you think?
I want to hear your thoughts. You texted me and said you thought Jalen Hurts was playing really well. So
he looked so good, and everyone was freaking out about the knee thing, and understandably because we didn't know. But I'm he's thrown it well. He was. He hit A.J. Brown a bunch, and he ran it really well. I mean, he's such a – Tom Brady actually did really well on the call because he was calling Jalen Hurts out, hey, if you got one-on-one with A.J. Brown, sling it. Let your receiver make a play. And I wish Jalen Hurts was more decisive with all that, but I feel like he's gotten a lot better. Mm-hmm. And it does feel like he gets banged up more towards the end of the year because of all this running that he does and because – it's kind of like the Cam Newton thing when Cam was taking all these hits and he was just bigger than everyone, so he could, but then it finally caught up to him. I'm a little bit afraid of that, but he looked good. I'm not saying he's as good as Cam Newton. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying they're very similar in size and they're just big guys and they can take hits. But you do it for 20 weeks. Guess what? 20th week, it's gonna hurt a little bit more.
Yeah, it takes a toll.
But
it definitely
Saquon's a beast. I mean, the Eagles have the most talent out of any team in the NFL, and I think they're the only team that could beat the Chiefs. Your thoughts?
I agree with everything you just said. To be honest, I think Jalen Hurts looked great. I think he did. I think he looked better this week than he had before. Like it seemed like he was taking some more chances. It's not the best Washington defense. That's been Washington's downfall all year, right? Like it's their defense. But I do think he looked a lot better, and I think it was good to see him. He looked like he was moving around well too, which was good. Saquon's a freak, man. That first touchdown was unbelievable. That first touchdown was unbelievable. I placed his like he had 175 plus rushing and receiving was like almost plus 300. And after that play, I was like, I was going to cash easily because it was a 60-yard run on like the first play of the game. He didn't end up getting close to it, and like he didn't even hit his over, which was like 128, and he had like 124. So I was pissed because that was my only thing. I was a little upset because I was like, you had 60 yards on the first drive, and here you go, you're messing up my bets. But no, he Saquon's a freak. It was a great game. I thought it was a great game. What impressed me the most was the defense. Some of those punch outs on defense was unbelievable.
Oh, they're so good at that.
They were fantastic.
They did the same thing against. They did the same thing the last game.
Yeah,
they just got all of them.
Every single one was a punch out. It was like a legit going after the ball. Rams.
Yeah, they did that all day.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Like first, was it the Packers' first play of the game and forced a fumble?
Yes.
Like on the kickoff or something.
Yep.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, you're right. It was. Yeah. The first play it was on the kickoff. Yeah.
Like they just, and I texted you. I'm like, dude, these punch outs are incredible because they show the replay and it's like they hit it perfect every time.
Correct. Targeted. And the one was with, this to your point about Tom Brady. The one I think it was on, maybe it was the punt or was either the punt or the kickoff. The kickoff after they scored before the second half. I didn't know this, but Brady was like, "What do they teach you on special teams? Bite the ball. So take your helmet and like." If you can get your head on it, bite it and like knock it. And that's what it was. It was a punch out with the head, like a clear, I'm going to punch this thing out. So I just thought that was cool. I see that's like Tom Brady, right? Like that was his commentary. That was like, oh, I've never heard that before.
Never played a single snap of special teams.
Right. But he knows what he's talking about. I think I will trust him to talk to know what he's talking about.
He just knows it all.
But yeah, I think you're right. I think they're the most talented team. I was texting another one of my friend of mine who's an Eagles fan, and he was saying he wanted the Bills to win because he's tired of the Chiefs, but like he just wants to play the Bills. But I was kind of like, I feel like he'd want to play the Chiefs. Like, don't you want to beat the team? Revenge, rematch. And I think they match up. I think they match up decently well against the Chiefs. Honestly, they both have really good defenses, and like you said, the Eagles have the weapons. Yeah, they have the weapons on offense.
Eagles have 2 X factors. They have AJ Brown.
I think they have 3. Devonta he hasn't had a great playoffs, but like he is for a number 2 wide receiver to put your second best corner on or have to worry about one-on-one. Like that's how you get exposed on the defense side of the ball. Kind of like what you were saying earlier. And their offensive line is just unbelievable. I think Howie Roseman deserves a shit ton of credit for what he's done over the last, 5, 6, even the Super Bowl that they won before. He's always done a great job. Like I think he was up there with any of the best GMs in the NFL. And like to swing on and hit on both your rookie corners that are both been studs on the defense when that was really your only weakness coming into the year. You took 2 chances the first 2 rounds of the draft. They both hit. Like it's just unbelievable. So I think the Eagles are the best talent roster from top to bottom.
How about Nick Sirianni?
Yeah, Nick Sirianni. Yeah.
Dude, that guy's been to 2 Super Bowls in 4 years.
Yeah, I think he's the
highest winning.
Yeah,
he's the highest winning percentage.
Yep,
in the
NFL history. I also think Jalen Hurts is the first quarterback. Like, there's some weird stat out there. It's like 0-19, first quarterback to go back to the playoffs after losing his first attempt, like within his first 2 years or something. It's like if you go to the Super Bowl as a rookie or a second-year quarterback, no one's actually made it back to the Super Bowl or something. It's some weird stat like that.
That sounds like a stat that doesn't matter.
But it is crazy when it's 0-19 or whatever. So it obviously has some correlation. But I think he finally broke that stat, which is nice. So I completely agree.
I think if the Eagles win the Super Bowl, Saquon will go down as the best Eagle of all time. Already.
No.
Who's better?
I mean, it's been 1 year.
I know, but
I think he could go down as the best free agency pickup of all time.
I don't know. He's got 2 more years left. There's no one really you can point to in the first Super Bowl win besides Nick Foles, but he was the backup. He played 3 games.
Yeah.
So like there's like Reggie White, who's the second best. Randall Cunningham, probably not.
Yeah. You don't think Donovan McNabb or like
he didn't win.
I know, but still just like
He
longevity.
didn't win.
Shady
Brian Dawkins.
Yeah. Sean
He's
McCoy.
way better than Shady McCoy.
Yeah.
Where do you? Okay, let me ask you this: How many running
Michael
backs?
Vick.
How many running backs are you taking before in history before Saquon? Because I think he's like 50 yards away from breaking like the all-time regular season and playoff rushing.
He might
record.
be, yeah, for this year alone. Yeah, that would make sense. I mean, I still think Jim Brown's up there. I think Barry Sanders is still up there. I'm probably gonna leave out like obvious names because I did not. It wasn't. It's kind of off the cuff. I still think CMC's up there for what he's done for like the last few years because like Saquon's had a few down years. I mean, I know he's playing with the Giants, but there was a few years there where he was not. He didn't break 1,000 yards last year. Who else am I like? I gotta think of. I'm leaving out
DeVito.
Yeah, Tommy. Did you say Tommy DeVito? It's quarterback
with Tommy
yeah.
DeVito. Yeah.
So what? I have Jim Brown, Barry Sanders, O.J. Simpson. I mean Derrick Henry.
Adrian Peterson.
There. Adrian Peterson.
You're
Peterson.
taking all these guys before Saquon?
Yes, all of them.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There's got to be other ones.
Because it seems like he's the most important piece of this team.
I think he is. I think like for this year specifically, I think he is. I think it's just putting him that high up all time for the previous seasons.
I'm just asking who would you take ahead of him? I'm not saying that he's the best of all time by any means. I'm just saying that he's making a case like, hey man,
Emmitt
here
Smith.
I am. Yeah. No,
Walter Payton. What about LT or Marshall Faulk?
Marshall Faulk won.
Yeah. LT didn't win, did he? I don't think he did. Yeah.
No, I'm just saying he's he's probably going to be he's probably going to be considered the best Eagle ever.
Okay, interesting.
Or up there, or at least top 5. I mean, they put a post. The Eagles put a post up. I think like a month ago. Let me try to find it, but they put like the most.
You think it? Is it? Do you think it's going to be the most famous? He came from the Giants? Yeah.
I don't think it matters. I don't think it matters.
So I actually watched the Hard Knocks again recently because of that. I wanted to see I saw clips of it of the whole Joe Shane thing and and like I wanted to watch it and like watching that episode of Free Agency in hindsight of what happened is just hilarious. Like it is so funny looking back on it. It's unbelievable. If you're a Giants fan, you got to be sick. But he wasn't going to have the season with the Giants because it's the Giants. Like you need to have the team around you.
Yeah, I mean, and he's got this offensive line. I mean, we talked about this. Like, if you switched out him and Gibbs, like he probably has a similar season. I'm not saying the same, but similar.
Yeah, he's just also a good dude. I love that he's just
seems like the best guy.
Yeah,
seems like the best guy.
That clip of him saying "Let the young guys eat" when he was 13 yards away of breaking his career high against the Giants, and he's just like, "Nah, I'm good." Let
how
these young
pumped
guys
he
play.
was when Will Shipley scored his first career touchdown.
I almost texted you, Saquon system running back after that long run.
That's crazy. Hey, man, if you have a good offensive line...
Yes, you can do a lot of things.
There's a lot of people
can do a lot of things.
I'm just saying, that guy is not going to have to pay for anything in Philadelphia if they win.
Yes.
If they win. Because I don't think he's going to do this again.
Well, and the crazy thing, I mean, I know we talked about this, but his contract, like $12 million a year, compared to like
13.5.
Compared to like Gabe Davis is making more money than him. Like, that's the shit that we're talking about, which is insane. How devalued the running back became.
What the running backs did this year, I'm not saying he did it, but what he did, what Derrick Henry did, what James Cook did, what Gibbs did, what Montgomery did, all those guys, they revived the running backs.
1,000%.
Revived them.
We talked about it. This year was the year of like you needed a run game and you needed a quarterback who could you needed a quarterback that was mobile enough to make plays with his legs when he needed to. Like that's how the defense has evolved. A lot of them are playing those cover 2 shells. You need to find other ways to win, and that's what it seemed like. The teams that were successful were those kind of Jane Daniels in Washington's offense. A lot of short screen passes, which is an extension of the run game. Obviously, the Eagles, the Bills, the Chiefs, Ravens, like all these teams had solid run games and mobile quarterbacks. So, and I know we didn't really talk about the Commanders much, but again, hell of a season for the Commanders. Like unbelievable season. They have like 110 million in cap space. Cliff Kingsbury turned down the Saints interview request to be their head coach today because he wanted to do another year, like similar to I think what Ben Johnson did last year. I want to stay and see this through because I could feel the potential in the future, and this is where my career is best served. And I think that's smart. I know there's only 32 jobs in the NFL. He's already had a head coaching job, so he knows how it goes. If you get in the wrong spot, you're not going to be successful, and then you're out of the league for 2 years. So I think the Commanders have a really bright future. They need to shore up the defense a little bit, run defense and the secondary. But they got themselves a good quarterback. They have themselves some good weapons. You get another weapon next to Terry, and then you pick up some pieces on defense. They're going to be – who would have thought it'd be Eagles and Commanders as those two teams and not the Cowboys just kind of off to the side.
If you said that there's two NFC East teams in the conference championship, everyone would assume that it was the Cowboys
and Eagles. Dallas. Yeah.
And nope.
So not to get in a side tangent, but what do you think of the Cowboys? Because I know we talked about it earlier, their hire. I just think it makes no sense.
Why?
You part ways with your head coach to promote your offensive coordinator who wasn't not getting any buzz anywhere else, who probably shares a lot of the same philosophies as Mike McCarthy. It just when you get a new coach, it's your time to usually they bring in all their own coaches, bring in a new that's what happens. You want a massive turnover and change. So it feels like you're kind of wasting that. And maybe it's they didn't like the people out there, so hey, let's give them a shot. If not, next year we'll try again. Maybe that's the thought process. Rental. Yeah, like a 1-year rental. It just they decided Mike McCarthy a week and a half into the offseason when interviews were already starting that hey, this isn't going to work out. Let's part ways. They couldn't do the Skype interviews or Zoom interviews or whatever for coaches that were coaching anymore. The whole process it felt like it just ridiculous. If I was a Cowboys fan, I'd be pissed. I would be pissed. And he might be a great coach. I think it was kind of a sham of a whole process. I think they couldn't make up their minds. It seems like Jerry does a lot and kind of holds on to things too long. And I just thought it was interesting. I just don't think it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. You just never,
you never know. Yeah.
I don't mind hiring from within. I don't mind that, but it could just be a 1-year rental thing.
Yeah.
See what I know. I've heard him and Dak have a good relationship, so it could be something to do with that. Yeah. Cowboys are weird, man. It's a weird organization. It's it's all who the fuck knows. They have tours in their in their facility when their players. It's like a zoo. Oh look, there's the offensive tackle in his natural habitat. Shit like that. Yeah, lifting.
That's so weird.
Yeah,
yeah. I didn't want to get to the Cowboys. I just thought I kind of came to mind when we were talking about. And the Cowboys' last team in the NFC did not make a conference championship. Every other team has now made a conference championship since the Cowboys have last made it.
I know. That's why.
And do you see Steven? I think it was Steven Jones. He was like, people keep talking about this drought we're in. And it's you're in a fucking drought. You're the last team in the NFC to
you're the most popular team. You're America's team. And you
are in the biggest drought of any team in the NFC. Yes, it's a drought. It just that cracks me up.
Yeah.
Cowboys
you
fans
are
gotta be
kind of on the same level as the Browns.
Yes.
Yeah.
Actually.
Really quick, I was looking up I was trying to find top Eagles players of all time, and I came across this Sports Illustrated piece about the Eagles beginning of the season, and they were ranking their top 25 players. Guess where they had Saquon beginning of the season?
Beginning of the season before he played a snap. Oh God! Wait, what? Who did this? Who did the article?
Sports Illustrated.
Sports 7.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
He was 7.
I figured it was top 10 somewhere, but not super high. So that's why I was 7.
Yeah.
Who was ahead of it?
They went A.J. Brown 1, Lane Johnson 2, Devontae Smith 3, Jalen Carter 4, Jordan Mailata 5, Jalen Hurts 6, Saquon 7.
Okay, that was this year. Those are players this year.
Yeah. That's what I said.
Yeah, okay. For some reason, I thought you said all time. I was going all time, where they put him all time. No. Yeah, okay.
No.
Okay.
It's crazy.
That's why I was, okay. Yeah, that makes more sense.
Yeah.
But that's roster stacked. Like, it's unbelievable.
Stacked.
You forget about the defensive guys.
They had, Jordan Davis at 14. That's crazy.
Oh, wow. Who was last?
25.
Yeah.
Kelly Ringo.
Interesting. Okay.
Isaiah Rodgers above Cooper DeJean. How about that?
Yeah, but that's, you don't know.
I know.
Yeah.
I know. But
where was Cooper DeJean?
It's 24.
24. Okay.
Yeah. But anyway.
Those are fun to look back on after the year's over.
I know, because you can play Monday morning quarterback on.
Correct. Yes. Hell of a season for the Commanders. Go Birds in the Super Bowl. That's all I'm going to say. Just go Birds. Anything else we missed in that game? I mean, obviously it was mostly Eagles. Most points scored in an NFC Championship game in NFL history. Like, they ran away with it. Commanders 4 turnovers. That last pick in the end zone kind of was when they were already down 27 points, but they dominated kind of in that start of that second quarter-ish time frame. It was a fun game, though. I still enjoyed watching it, even though it was kind of a blowout. I still think, Jane Daniels moved the ball well. They still moved the ball. It's just the turnovers that kind of came back to bite them. But,
yeah.
No, it was a fun game. He did play well. He's not the reason they lost whatsoever. No, which I think is good.
All right, so I found a top 10 list of the Eagles really quick.
Is this all time?
All time. Number 1, Reggie White.
Okay, that makes sense.
Number 2, Chuck Bednarik. Played in 1949 to 1962.
Yeah, can't say I know who that is.
That's a tough one. Number 3 was Jason Kelsey, who I completely forgot about.
Wow.
So
okay. I'm surprised he's that high, but yeah, that makes sense.
What do you mean? He's he's like the best center of all time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Him and Jeff Saturday have arguments. Brian Dawkins 4, McNabb 5, Randall Cunningham 6.
Okay.
Harold Carmichael 7, Fletcher Cox 8, Jason Peters 9, Brian Westbrook 10.
Oh, Brian Westbrook. I forgot about Brian Westbrook. I didn't forget about him, but it's hard when you're thinking of these guys off the top of your head. Yeah, Brian Westbrook was a beast.
Yeah.
It's a good list.
It's a good list. I just think, some of the guys who played 40s to 60s, what are we doing?
Yeah, it's fair. I don't know who they are. So that, I guess that's fair. But no,
if I see 1940 by your name, hey man.
It's time.
Yeah, it's time to retire that guy from the list.
From the list. No, I think you're probably right. I think he's probably top 25 already, and then I think he's got to have 2 good years. But
if he wins Super Bowl, he's top 10.
Anytime you win a Super Bowl and you're a massive part of it, it usually cements your legacy. So, what's the spread actually?
1.5
for the Super Bowl. Is it 1.5?
Favored, yeah.
Chiefs are favored.
Do you know what Saquon's line is for rushing yards?
Rushing. So last week it was I think it was 128 last week.
For rushing?
I think it was or maybe that was a combined rushing and receiving. I'm going to go.
There's no way it was 128.
It was something nuts. I'm going to go 109 and a half.
117.
Wow.
And a half. That's insane.
The Chiefs have a good defense too.
I know.
That's what's the crazy thing.
If you told me it was 87 and a half, I'd be like, okay, hit the over.
Yeah.
117. 100, you'd think about it.
I'm going to probably stay away from that one this week.
Yeah. They're going to.
Or next week.
Yeah.
I'm probably going to stay away from that one. I tried it last week. It didn't work. James Cook, throughout the playoffs, and if I posted these on most of the last few weeks, he was always plus 300 for 100 plus rushing receiver yards, and I think he hit it every week in the playoffs. So I don't know why. It was just every week it was a surprise. So that one cleared, I think he cleared it by 30 or 40 yards this past weekend. So that was a good bet. Got tweeted out if you saw it.
Love that.
Mm-hmm. So real quick, I know we'll talk Super Bowl next week, but initial thoughts. How do you feel?
I feel
as
good.
an Eagles fan? Yeah, you feel good?
feel as good as I possibly could. I mean, it's like one of those things you're playing, you know, a team that's fully healthy, that's comfortable in this position.
Mm-hmm.
And I think they match up very well. So, yeah.
I'm excited. A lot of people are like not happy about it because we just saw it, but I think it's a really good matchup. Like I think it's a very, very good matchup.
Know. People are like, we've seen this before. Like if it was Commanders Bills, that'd bum me out.
Commanders Bills.
Yeah, that'd bum me out a little bit.
Well, yeah, especially being an Eagles fan, that I can understand why that would bum me out.
Not even if like the Eagles, weren't even in it.
You're just talking matchup wise.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like it's gonna be a blowout.
It's fair.
It might not be. I mean, who knows? They should start playing third place games the week before the Super Bowl.
So actually, this is an idea that it's not for third place, but to try and prevent tanking a little bit. They're saying like someone came up with a proposition of like the first two teams, like the two worst teams in the NFL, should play each other the Thursday before the playoffs start. For winner gets the number one pick. Like the two worst teams in the NFL play each other. I would watch it. I think that'd be awesome because then you have to play for something, right? Like you have to play for something. You want to win to get the first pick. I just think it'd be like it never happened, but it was like a similar idea of like adding an extra game on. But the two worst teams in the NFL
promote tanking.
Yeah, maybe.
We got to get in that game.
Yes, but yeah, I guess that's true. But you're not guaranteed to get the first pick if you're the worst team. But
I know. But
I don't know.
Oh no, I get the second. Oh, I get the second pick.
I just think it would be. I think it'd be fun. I think it'd be funny.
It's a little gimmicky.
Yeah, no, I mean all that stuff's gimmicky. But I would watch. I think it'd be fun.
I just think teams are just bad to be bad. Like they're just
Yeah,
like,
I think that's true.
The Patriots sucked. The Giants sucked. Tennessee was so. I mean, they had Will Levis all year.
Cleveland clearly tanked, like massively.
Well, they couldn't really do much.
They and Cleveland's the one team that has been known to pay employees for performing poorly. When Hugh Jackson got paid out 2 years in a row. When he's like So in Cleveland tank, they put DTR in there when he had no business playing.
Oh yeah, that's true. But wasn't Jameis hurt?
No, Jameis was. They demoted him to emergency quarterback.
Oh, well, leave it up to Cleveland to mess everything up.
Yes,
that's brutal.
But I think it's all we got for football.
Yeah,
one game left.
I know it's going to be tough doing this podcast about football. I now feel how ESPN feels. They don't have to. They don't have to not talk about gambling.
This is where they start talking about what people are wearing, like when they're walking into or what breakfast is this team? Breakfast, like all that stupid shit because they have nothing else to talk about.
Oh yeah, that's so dumb. Dude.
Yeah.
Wow. Or they just start they'll bring up the Jordan LeBron debate.
Yes, just random shit out of nowhere because they have nothing else to talk about. Yeah.
God, I'm so glad that's over.
Yes. But you want to talk a little golf?
Yeah, so Brian and I, after the
playoffs, baby,
are over. We're gonna, start gambling. We did some golf gambling a lot last year that's kind of what got me really into
golf gambling's
more.
Fun. Golf gambling is a lot of fun. I enjoy golf gambling. Yeah,
so now since I think this is the first week, most of the big players are playing the AT&T at Pebble Beach. I think it's called the AT&T still. Whatever this tournament is at Pebble Beach, I should know this stuff, but maybe I'll start watching golf again. Who knows?
I like watching golf.
Anyway, we're gonna start talking about our golf bets at the end of the pod instead of football because it's tough for basketball. We'll still talk about the NBA, and we have March Madness coming up too, so that'll be good. But most of our prop bets and our stuff that we do at the end of the podcast are going to be more on our X/Twitter page at AthletePod. So if you want to see baseball's about to start, no runs first inning. Brian loves to hit those.
Yep.
So if you want to see what he's going to be placing with that, or like NBA game, NBA playoffs are going to start up soon. So, but we're going to start talking about like golf, not like in depth, but we're just going to talk about who we're going to bet on this week for the most part. But anyway, so with that being said, I don't know if you could. There's that TGL thing that started. I don't know if you can bet on it. Did you look into that at all?
No, I'll look into it though. I doubt it though.
Yeah.
But kind of speaking on that, yeah, we'll be placing some bets. It's harder for us to keep track because football is great because the games are on Sundays, so you can get this out on Thursday, and then odds are already out. We can do it. It's a little bit, like Mike said, it's a little bit harder with basketball because they only give you the odds for the next day. So like we might not get it out before the games even start, so it feels pointless to say our bets and like no one can use them or whatever. So yeah, we'll be doing a lot of bets on Twitter, and then we'll be keeping track of some golf bets, and we'll still talk football. Like I'm a big off-season football guy, so we'll talk free agency, we'll talk draft, all that kind of stuff, which will be fun. And then yeah, I think golf's fun because it's similar. I think that's why I like golf betting because it's similar to the NFL. You can look at it, when it's going to happen, majors especially, and it's like you don't need to watch all of Thursday, Friday. It's mostly Saturday, Sunday. You want to see what happens, who makes the cut, finishes top 20, top 50. So I do think it'll be fun. Be different than no run first innings. I love drilling no run first innings. I used to play there was a period where I placed 6 a day. I would do 6 different parlays a day. Ridiculous. I like no run first innings. So
yeah.
But yes,
all right. Well,
TGL.
We were talking about it. We were texting about. Well, I texted you to just tune in. There's 2 holes left. Just to see your thoughts. We've both seen clips of it. I've turned it on for the first couple weeks for 5 minutes each time. Didn't really understand it, the rules and everything. But what were your thoughts on the TGL? And just be honest.
Yeah, I'm gonna be honest.
Cool.
So I didn't think I would ever watch it, to be honest with you. Seeing the clips and seeing knowing about it happening and I get the idea of it and I get why they want to do it. They're trying to find other ways to make golf interactive and showcase it outside of just your PGA or your live events. And I think a lot of it, and you correct me if I'm wrong, but a lot of it come up because of live. They're trying to find different ways to make that make it a more of a fast paced game, kind of like live has a little bit, as opposed to the PGA.
More interactive.
Interactive. And with the music and the flashing lights and all that kind of stuff, the crowd screaming. So I kind of always thought it was a little bit of a gimmick. I did not tune into it, kind of like you said, the first few weeks. I had my dad text me and he was like, "Are you going to watch it? Are you, he's all golf, everything." So he texted me one day. He's like, "Oh, Tiger's doing." I'm like, "Are you going to watch it?" I was like, "No." He's like, "Oh, I'm going to watch it. I can't wait." And I'm like, "All right, whatever." Or float your boat, man. But you told me to flip it on, and I had nothing. I was just chilling last night, so I was like, "Yeah, I'll flip it on. Why not?" I enjoyed it more than I thought I would. I definitely enjoyed it more than I thought I would, and maybe it's because I turned it on at the exact right moment. There was 2 holes left. I think Tiger's team was up 1, and then Adam Scott drained a 40-foot putt as I turned it on to tie the match up. It was essentially as I saw their approach shots, and then I saw the putts. And then it went into the 18th hole, and I believe it was Anthony Kim almost chipped in from the sand.
Anthony Kim.
Not Anthony Kim. Fuck, what's his name?
Jesus.
Help me out here.
Tom Kim.
Tom Kim. Sorry, not Anthony Kim. I don't know why I drew a blank. Why did I? Yeah. Tom Kim almost chipped it in. But Anthony Kim, that's flashback from high school when he was when he was, and he made his resurgence on live this past year. So I get and he almost chipped. He dumped that too, chipped in it from sand. So and they went to a chip off. So that was exciting. Could I sit there and watch an entire match? No, I don't think so. If it's not a close match, and it's one of those things almost like basketball games sometimes where you want to tune in for the end when it's close, more so than watching at the beginning. I feel like that's where I could see myself tuning in more so than watching the whole thing. I don't think it's going to do anything for me from a golf standpoint, though. I don't know if they're trying to compete with a lot of the YouTube stuff that they're seeing out there. because I know the YouTube golf space has really, exploded over the last couple of years.
Well,
Um,
little inside baseball for you. Those fans are all invited,
oh, really?
and a lot of them are YouTubers.
Really?
Yeah.
Like the people in
So,
the stands at the event?
oh yeah,
Yikes.
little inside baseball for you.
Yeah, it's not. You hate to see that. You hate
If
to see
you,
that.
I know some of them, and they're they're posting about like they get to come in before and
Yeah.
hit on the screen and post videos and all that. So yeah, it's I don't want to say it's a paid crowd, but
It's a paid crowd.
it's a paid crowd.
Yeah, it sucks. That's tough. We were talking about it briefly. We didn't get into super deep conversations, but like it feels like one of those things. It had built up excitement and stuff like that, and I know it only lasts, another month or two or something.
Yeah.
But it just feels like it's gonna die. Like it's not gonna survive. It's not gonna last. I think the theory of it's cool. Like I like how the green on like they get the whole
The technology's
changes.
awesome.
Like yeah, the technology is fantastic. I love simulator. Like I love hitting into simulator. I think it's fun.
Yeah.
Watching someone hit into simulators though just isn't as entertaining to me. Like I think the green aspect's awesome though. Like the chipping and putting is really cool. But
I was trying to think of like I don't like how they just do like 1-on-1 on the holes. Maybe it's because I tuned in late too, so maybe they do something different. We have not set. Maybe I'll watch the next one so I can explain more. But I just saw everyone play 1-on-1, and like the other teammates are just like on the side doing nothing.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And in my head, I'm like, how do you get any momentum? But then also I was thinking like this is something they do at the Pro Bowl. Like how far can you throw it? Or like the catching challenge, or like the NBA skills challenge on the All-Star game. Like I do think it's cool. Like I would love to hit on that simulator. I would love to chip around on that green.
1,000, yeah.
Like that's like the dream. But also I don't want to watch like, I don't know, what would you compare this like basketball? Like LeBron and KD playing horse?
Yeah, kind of like something along those lines. Like, I mean, because it's
Like you
Tiger
probably watch
Murray.
it once, but could you do it again?
Yeah, Steph and LeBron playing like not even 3-on-3. It's like because it's really like you said, it's really 1v1 every hole. So it's not even 3-on-3.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's golf is so weird because you can do so many different things. That's like kind of the game. The chip off at the end was weird. I wish they just played a hole.
Yeah, I agree. Or they should have switched it up. Like you had to do closest to the pin between the three of them. Like the first match is one chip shot. The next one change it to a completely different shot. You know what I mean? That's what I thought they were going to do to at least mix it up a little bit. So people haven't seen.
I think they were running late though.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So they were just trying to finish it up.
Like Duke, NC State was playing right after.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
I don't know. I think in theory, I'm with you. Like, but my thing is like I like watching competitors play their best under pressure, and this just looks like a fun activity.
Yeah. The competitiveness, like, and I know Tom Kim did a good job. Like he was hyped and he was trying like, and I don't know if how real that was and how fake, but like you could tell how hyped he was. So to that
I was
point,
trying to figure that out too. I was like, is this a show?
Correct. It felt like over the top for what this is. Like, what are they?
I agree.
Do you think the same thing? Yeah. What are they competing for?
I have no idea.
Like, that was the other thing. I don't know what they're competing for, so I don't know if there's money involved. I doubt it.
So we're both golfers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But we're both casuals when it comes to this.
Yes.
We have no idea what's going on.
No.
And that's the problem.
Zero.
And we were trying to figure out the demographic. You thought it was like the young guys. I truly think it's like the 30 to 45-year-olds who just got into golf during COVID. Probably think this is really cool.
Yeah.
Because I see it all the time. Every time I go to a golf course, I see people around my age or older, and they are not good, but they're having the time of their life, and they're just happy to be out there, which is great. Which is great, but it's like, it's a completely different sport than what I'm doing.
Mm-hmm. Right. Yeah, because
You know?
I kind of I know I texted you. I kind of attributed to it as like the streaming has like obviously since we were in high school played like there was no streaming, there was no YouTube, like none of this twit, like none of that stuff was around. I kind of attributed it to that, like trying to get that kind of fan base and try and build up that kind of watch the pros like not play golf but play a faster paced, quicker. Like everyone wants things, you know, that instant gratification type thing
Yeah.
that you see a lot now. And then I also thought of like YouTube golf. They're trying to play some of these games that you also see in YouTube golf, like these YouTubers do, and all these weird,
Yeah.
like, and
You have
maybe
to
they're trying to
really,
do that.
yeah. But then leave that for the YouTubers.
Yeah, or just do YouTube yourself, I
Yeah,
guess.
do what Bryson's doing.
Yeah, do what Bryson's doing. Yeah, I don't know, and I
Is
think that's
I think the reason why golf is like kind of down right now is because it's too split between Live
yeah,
and PGA. The biggest that we could go into a
yeah,
huge thing about this, but everyone wants to see everyone play the best in any sport. You want to see the best play against the best, and you want it to be competitive, and you want it to be in a more serious situation. You don't want that's why like people who don't really respect Live because they think it's Mickey Mouse. But
yep.
now you're looking at the leaderboard on the PGA Tour, and people are like, "Who's that?"
Mm-hmm.
So
That's why the majors are. That's why like the majors are. Everyone tunes in for the majors. That's why they're awesome.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I don't know. I'll tune in next week too, just to get some more information. Because like that was the other thing. I know we said already. I don't know what the hell they're playing for. Like, is it just we win like bragging rights or like what is it for?
I don't know. Maybe they're playing for money, but like that goes back to what I was saying before. Like, why? I don't care how much they make.
Yeah, they're already making like they're like I can't.
There's not many people there's not many people who can tell you how much money the winner of the Masters makes.
Yeah. You know, honest, like, do you think it'd be better if they brought in, instead of doing just all pros, they brought in like pros versus Joes or something like that, or did something like that, or would that just be stupid?
That'd be really dumb.
Yeah.
I think they need to find a way to make it competitive.
Yeah.
Because people have thought of that, but then I'm like, would the pros want to do that?
No, probably not. Yeah.
I wouldn't want to do that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like this guy just bladed a chip and killed someone in the first row.
Is it? Yeah, because honestly, they are. I noticed that they're like far back from the. They're pretty far back from the screen. It's like if you shank one, you're going into the.
Well, I'm more worried about like. Did you see that Kisner bunker shot where he bladed it and hit the flag?
Yeah.
He got lucky at the flag.
Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I'll watch it next week. Get some. It's a Rory and Tiger. Is it always a Rory and Tiger thing? Or is that just okay? They get new people every week.
Yeah. So. Yeah, this is the first time I saw Rory on it.
I know Tiger's done it at least once.
Yeah, that was the second time. Like the first time Tiger did it was the second week, and they got beat like 12-1.
See, that's stupid. Like that's so stupid.
It was a blowout. Yeah.
I'm curious, I might track this, how the views go over the next couple, like compared to week 1 or 2, how they go the rest of the way.
I think they're going to do it just enough to where the views aren't going to dip too much.
Too much.
But I do like I'm root for stuff like this because I want to watch like we're about to just have baseball on.
Yeah.
We're a few months away of just baseball. That sucks.
It does suck.
I like watching baseball, but
same.
You can only watch so much.
So much, yeah. No, I completely agree. Yeah, you get to that dead period. I mean, the majors are in there though. Like the majors are in there.
Yeah, but that's
for
like
a little
one
bit.
weekend.
Yeah,
and then you have like 3 weeks of Reds Diamondbacks.
Yeah, and then, but honestly, once August comes around, then you got preseason football, and then I'm gambling on preseason football. So
I just won $20.
Nice.
That random bet I put in.
Yeah,
Anyway.
Mike's not in California, so he was trying to see if he could bet where he was. So he just threw in $10 on a random bet. Didn't even know what he betted on, but looks like it won. So that's good.
I won.
Nice.
1869 to be exact.
Nice. Take it.
Yeah, and that's
Playoffs, baby.
All right, Brian, you got any more?
That's hilarious. I love it.
Anything else?
No, I think that's all. I got. I'll watch it next week, and we'll go from there. And then, like Mike said before, podcast's gonna evolve a little bit. it'll be a little bit different every week. It won't just be obviously strict football, but probably be something completely different every single week. So, which is fun. It's good to do different stuff. So,
Yeah, we're just gonna go. We're just gonna go with like the sports flow.
yes,
And Brian
whatever's
loves the draft,
important.
so we're gonna get some. Maybe we'll talk about March Madness, and we'll maybe we'll do a bracket together or something.
So we'll do a bracket together. March Madness. What I actually want to do this year, I'm not going to go out and do like the $100 that like some people have done in the past. I want to do maybe I'll just do like $25 a game. The losers of I'm going to place on the underdog for the entire tournament, $25, and see what I net out. Like it just is an experiment.
I'm down.
Just just do it. Why not? I tried to do it one year and it kind of fell off and I didn't really see it through. But this year with the pod, yeah, I'm not going to do like I know people do 1,000 and 100. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go that high, but I'm going to do 25 and just see where it nets out. Just see where it nets out this year. This will be the year where no underdogs win, and I'm going to lose like $2,000, but we'll see.
Love the confidence.
So,
all right,
yeah.
Follow us at Athlete Pod on Twitter for more bets, and Traveling Athlete Pod on Instagram, TikTok, and YouTube for clips and updates on what's going on. So, all right, Brian.
Go Birds.